Hello and welcome, everybody. This is the Daily Dharma. My name is Dina with Empressivewarrior. Thank you so much for joining. Today is actually, at the time of this broadcast, the U.S. presidential election in 2024. So strap in. There's probably going to be just a little bit of reference to that energy as it is intense in the collective vibration at this time. Particularly the whys and whens and where throughout everything that is, how we're connected to our present tense. You know, this if this finds you in a timeless manner and you already know the results, take this as an energy, because all things are energy, an energy of something else that's transpiring, a time of significant subliminal rumbles that are evidencing changes in the air, because no matter what happens, it is absolutely a time of dynamic change and somewhat bated breath. Everybody's waiting for this in some type of a manner. It's like, metaphorically, we're all sitting in the waiting room at the hospital waiting for the new baby to be born, and once they've gone into labor, is like that election 24 hours where you're getting into position before the big gender reveal and so on. So we're birthing a new reality. Today's reading, I'd like to start with, I did a random selection page from the I Ching workbook by R.L. Wing, one of my favorites ever since I came across this. If you don't know the I Ching, check it out. It's based within the Tao, and some type of shifting and changing energetic readings come through this. And so this is the hexagram I've chosen here is number 51, Chen. And in this book, they call this shocking. 222 on the timer. If you don't like reading, go ahead and forward to the reading that is coming up, where I'm not going to be reading as much from the book, but this part I feel is very intense. So the sudden force of stored and kinetic energy in the cosmos will be released in a powerful and shocking display, like the awesome clap of a thunderbolt that explodes in the hushed moments before a storm. It will instill in the hearts of all who hear it an intense reverence and awareness of the overwhelming power of nature. All things in the cosmos will be aroused to movement through fear. This movement will be cautious, and cautious movement will bring success. The time is like spring, where new growth is aroused by the forces of nature. In human affairs, it can manifest as a shocking turn of events, an unpredictable, cataclysmic occurrence inspired by invisible but irresistible forces. If your first reaction to this is fear and reverence, then good fortune will follow. A heightened experience of the forces that affect your life will bring you into close contact with the inner workings of your nature. You can examine your reactions and thereby determine how best to strengthen your character. Once the shocking event has passed, like the thunderbolt before the storm, the taut readiness of your awareness and caution will be released in joy. Surviving this terrifying force will give you confidence in your ability to deal with all that follows. If you can learn to react with virtuous accord and maintain your composure, success is truly yours. This composure and inner strength are the marks of true leaders, persons who can greatly benefit society. During times of shock, you will have the opportunity to make new gains in social influence by handling yourself with tranquility and poise. This is a good time to examine your relationship to all your external affairs. Carry on with whatever you're engaged in, but be certain that you have most of the elements of your life under control. Affairs that are pending and unfinished business will cause difficulties during shocking times. Yet, if these times inspire you to make innovative changes in your life, in your relationships, and in yourself, you will meet with vitality and success. So it looks like no matter what happens, we're asked once again, as we were yesterday and several times previously, to trust the flow, to trust the evidenced will of whatever is going down, that folks are out there being seen and heard. However, as we had with the Tao message yesterday, we were told that we just needed to, once we saw that something wasn't working, we needed to be reflective upon ourselves and then make the proper adjustments within our own character and our own behavior and our own value systems to align with the new evidence that we have beyond fear into alchemy and the becoming of our beingness and how we align with what is coming in. Yesterday in a post I made, I called this like the drum roll happening before the final reveal, and then the envelope. There was an aspect pattern in the astrology yesterday, the 4th of November, in the aspect pattern of the chart of the moment, there was an envelope, and it's like, and the envelope please, and the survey says, and here we go. And tomorrow the sun will still rise, and we will still have neighbors and colleagues, friends and family that don't agree with us 100%. And it's about what we do in that moment that is earning us some type of graduation into the next leg of the journey for us, this new birth, this new collective coming in. We've got quite a few cards popping up here from the Tao and Art of War decks. Underneath the deck, we have Take the Long View. Foreknowledge is an awareness of something before it happens. Such knowledge is very important because it gives us the peace of mind of knowing that the world will not end tomorrow. No shit. It is how civilizations went from the horse and the cart to the jet airliner in 100 years. Foreknowledge is how we use the promise of tomorrow to change and to continue with what we do today. Incredible. Oh, on the back side here we have Master number 77, which is one of my favorites. To me, that speaks of divine intervention. Let's see, it reads, as it acts in the world, the Tao is like the bending of a bow. The top is bent downward, the bottom is bent up. It adjusts excess and deficiency so that there is perfect balance. It takes from what is too much and gives to what isn't enough. Those who try to control, those who force to protect their power, go against the direction of the Tao. They take from those who don't have enough and give to those who have far too much. The master can keep giving because there's no end to her wealth. She acts without expectation, succeeds without taking credit, and doesn't think that she is better than anyone else. Hear, hear. So underneath we do have one more long one. This says, be decisive and quick. Life is short, although it's only when you reach a certain age that you realize this. The fact is that you cannot wait too long to tackle your problems, as they will only get worse. Absolutely, you need to check that before it gets out of control. Face them now, decide what to do, and act quickly. You may find things are not as difficult as you thought. And that is reminding me, excuse me while I readjust, I'm sitting on my feet and I can't do that a moment longer. It reminds me here that many times we're told that our voice is small, that our power is insignificant to affect change. But the powers that we hold, no matter what the context of this reading is for you in particular, is that our voice is powerful. The things that we believe about ourselves are evidenced in our reality. The things that we allow and tolerate that others speak over us or direct us and tell us what we can and can't do, like, oh, you'll never succeed in that. Better to just play small and just, stay in the labyrinth with the scientists and just hit that bar and get your pellet at the end of every day. It's like, some of us are really being decisive and quick, witnessing our power to outsmart the maze and to just say, I don't need to continue to run this same maze day in and day out. I can see the way out of the box and out of the cage. But it's no time like the present. It says literally life is short. And at some point you recognize the power and the gravity of the moment, because after having witnessed so many times where you didn't take 1111 on the counter, where you didn't take decisive action and it had spiraling outcomes, like for instance, a choice of do you stay in your hometown and get a job with your family, grocery store, versus do you go to university in a distant town with different views, different types of people and thoughts and speech and etc. And these things can really impact and spiral off into completely different timelines for the individual that's making these choices. And so is the gravity of the moment. To speak for and indicate our vibrational resonance is a powerful, powerful moment. As we declare, so shall it be. Sun Tzu said, though we have heard of stupid haste in war, cleverness has never been associated with long delays. So get out there early, take care of it. Don't leave it to the last minute and find that you can't get there or that something is in the way. Leave yourself extra time. Here we have, don't be fooled. The word, quote, deception doesn't mean lying or deceiving people with evil intent. Magicians, secret Santa presents, or surprise parties use deception well. So, deception is not inherently bad or good, but we're exposed to it every day in politics, advertising, books, and movies. Sun Tzu says you need to be able to understand deception to be skilled in seeing through it. And this is one of the things I was praying in the pre-messages today, cleansing and clearing the space. I opened up the pole barn, let the wind race through it, and we smudged like crazy. I went out and I blessed the earth and the collective, and I asked that part of their protection be to awaken us to the greatest deception of all, and that is self-delusion and the accidental alignment with what doesn't actually serve. And so may we all be so wise to see our own way out of the labyrinth of our mind and our cognitive dissonance that continues to align with our oppressors or bullies or whatever, and to stand firm and sovereign in our knowingness, in our beingness, in our becoming. So yes, let's be critical thinkers and wise thinkers and allow ourselves, what was that word, the foresight that came out here, to be able to see trends and patterns and to adjust and where that fairness is and is not indicated. So it says all warfare is based on deception. When able to attack, we must seem unable When using our forces, we must seem inactive. When we're near, we must make the enemy believe that we are far away. When far away, we must make him believe that we are near. So it sounds like, based on this advertisement and this campaigning that's going on in your situation here, that there's a misdirection, and there are those using sleight of hand. And of course, we can see that any advertisement or any algorithm has bias. And so knowing that we also have confirmation bias, and we see what we expect, and that what we speak is how we project, that's one step further to making our way out of the underworld of the shadow sides of our ego as a collective. Number 64, here's the long one. What is rooted is easy to nourish. What is recent is easy to correct. What is brittle is easy to break. What is small is easy to scatter. Yes, unified forces coming in. Prevent trouble before it arises. Put things in order before they exist. The giant pine tree grows from a tiny sprout. The journey of 1,000 miles starts from beneath your feet. Rushing into action, you fail. That stupid haste. Trying to grasp things, you lose them. Forcing a project to completion, you ruin what was almost ripe. So don't rush it. Yes. Therefore, the master takes action by letting things take their course. He remains as calm at the end as at the beginning. He has nothing to lose. What he desires is non-desire. What he learns is to unlearn. He simply reminds people of who they have always been. He cares about nothing but the Tao. Thus, he can care for all things. That's beautiful. And in the context of the way I'm feeling that inspirational moment of saying that that as we release our ability to be in control of outcomes, the less that we actually try to micromanage and like be a hover mother, always, oh, honey, don't touch that. Oh, as we do that, we can create more and more fear. And then that child is like, into themselves. It's kind of like, it's the same when we're trying to manifest any type of new birth in our life, that we sometimes spoil a thing by too much and by rushing it. So there's another saying that's coming to mind in an image. It's like, when you plant the seed, that's not the day that you're going to harvest the crop. And likewise, when you plant the seed below the surface, there's a lot of factors that go into that care in the perfect ratio. We can't overwater. We can't flood it. We also can't go in and prematurely dig it up to see if the seed has actually broken and sprouted and rooted and then germinated. Because if we dig it up too soon, the entire harvest is nullified because we've been too hasty and we ruin what could have been. So trust things to develop in this situation. I wanted to get into the homemade cards here, but I think we'll get just a couple of code cards before we move in. I'm already feeling a little bit of the head buzz here. We have Realization 37 popping out into the lap here. Reduces to a number 10. The completion of a cycle, full circle. 1010. Realization, I think, corresponds well with the shocking aspect. I think that we are going to be unsurprised but still shocked at things as they manifest at this moment, and the words and deeds of those around us. Let's get a few more there. I like it so far. We've got third eye chakra, 6, Miracle is number 33, master number, and 41, Synergy. Couple more. That one came out in my lap as well. Number 30, Integration. Yeah, recognition, the shocking information. It's almost like in the moment, it's looking like people that are just more and more information coming out, more and more witnessing of the power of a movement in our life, that individuals are recognizing not only just their power, but the mass hypnosis, so to speak. And then the miracle is working together with individuals from different mindsets to protect something for the good of all, because that's what we're talking about in this Tao, is that if we protect some type of greater vision, if we can witness that in the delivery room, waiting room, that we're all wanting a healthy birth. We are all wanting the sanctity of the moment, the miracle of the transformation and the realization of the synergy and the reasons why we're there. It's like, your in-laws and their in-laws might not all get along. Somebody might think that you should have been a barber instead of a nuclear physicist, if that's your thing, right? I'm sure that's the majority, right? Sarcastically. However, in the moment, it's important to come together for the fundamental reality of what we can agree on. And at the moment, there's something quite critical, bringing mass energy into one moment, creating a shocking display of choice. There's a unification behind something coming forward. Okay, last way, one through here. There we go. We have perception and throat chakra. Sending a very clear message is, I believe, going to be crucial in defining the moment. That maybe there was a misunderstanding, a misrepresentation of the power of a movement. Healing. I think that there's going to be a gathering together of understanding that something isn't okay as it has been, and that there's a need for healing and gathering back together here. Let's keep moving here. What's the DIY card here of the moment? Let's get some information here. Aquarius. Aquarius is like the coming of the Aquarian age, which isn't all utopia, as you've probably heard me say if you've heard me talk about this card. Let's see, we've got material concerns, scarcity limits, blockage, superficiality, trophy. There's some level of detached thinking, surface level thinking here, where something has just been lightly engaged, but there's something operating here in all seriousness that is shifting the dynamic into the future. This is interesting. I don't know if I can keep my hands to myself. I think the emotions are heightened, but with 4444, that's like, know that the divine is here supporting and blessing this moment. Friend professional zone. And it also says hands off. So somebody doesn't know if they can keep their hands to themselves. But here it's like there's protection with that 4444 and hands off, that there are going to be individuals that are acting in ways that are unacceptable, but there's going to be guardians installed in these areas that are preventing something. Glow up under the deck. Maybe this is the wrong deck. I'm kind of feeling a certain way about it. Clearing my space and energy for this. Stand firm, authority, wisdom, sacred space, lucid, and protect. We're talking again about how other people begin to speak over things. Like we can know in the present tense with the election thing, for instance, we can understand that one candidate has been milking the illusion of fraud and so on for some time here. But it looks like individuals are going to be sending a clear message here of solidarity behind a movement, and that it's going to be upheld. Whatever comes is going to be upheld, and individuals are going to understand, even if they don't want to understand, that this is a clearing, it's a graduation, it's moving on. I have mad respect for you. Cutting cords, release, obsession, A, B, C, D, 9999, shift focus, creeping, young male, overthinking, stress, nerves. Okay, so I'm not sure how many of these have to do with your situation, but it's kind of like cutting ties with the past, respectfully moving forward with all these other individuals in our lives. It's like maybe this Aquarian material superficiality is the way that we can move forward with people of different ideologies and different understandings. And I think in that way, it's like the detachment that needs to happen to stay in that space of progress and to detach from the thought that other people create some type of scarcity for us. That old competition paradigm is scarcity, poverty mindset. And in this abundant universe, it becomes abundantly obvious that we need to start clearing that old BS out of our energy fields personally and collectively in order to move forward. So yeah, needing to respect some type of healing process for what it is. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly which way I want to go. Let's go ahead and get some from this. I don't know what this is called. Something like earth medicine or something like that. Child of Spells. That's a Page of Wands energy with 2 of Spells under the deck. There's a lot of foresight coming in and kind of foreknowledge and taking action for something in a spontaneous and instinctual way. And this also is sending clear messages of engagement from the youth in this process. The children, the young generation. Oh, I just accidentally said generation. Interesting. So then we have, this actually came out in reverse, but I don't read reversals generally. But Ace of Challenges, that Ace of Swords, I think is talking about the youth and the understanding of the level to which something has been trying to influence their understanding. You know, for instance, I was watching something about generations recently, and it was talking about that the middle of the road generation was raised by TV. And so many of us were able to understand that marketing was literally trying to manipulate your buying patterns, thus your own point of your will, your free will. And to me, that really settled into me, where I always look at something a little bit less trusting and a little bit more suspicious, which to a certain extent helps me be a critical thinker. But at different times, we've all been on the side where we have been influenced. Let's say, you know, the one on the playground that wants to start telling lies about little Johnny. It's like by the time it makes it around the whole playground, everybody's kind of looking a little bit at Johnny like, is it true? And then it becomes true because of the practice of saying it and speaking it again and again. It's not reality, but it's still, there are so many individuals believing this thing to be true. And so all of a sudden we're talking about bullies again in conjunction with the spoken word, and the ability to take back our consciousness from something that's threatening to influence our third eye chakra. And there's this shocking realization that we've been complicit in some level, that then we are collectively or personally, that we are actually taking back our power from. And sometimes this can even be within our family units, because the family unit is very much related to what I think is going on politically right now, is people's ability to remain lucid and empowered, and to believe that the individual has the right to choose for their own experience. Here we have 7, the fairy wind. Yeah, the winds of change are moving through. Look at all those feminine fairies lining up. It's like, at this time, I have been for months here predicting a feminine movement, and even for decades before, many of us have seen this coming down the pipeline. 7 of visions. Absolutely. I see so much here in the lens of potential, this green space. It's like somebody's really been able to read the tea leaves, to read the wands that we saw, intuitively able to understand what somebody's message truly is, and to come out of that space and to assist other individuals to empower their own lucidity. Yeah, the thing I was saying recently, it was like this large movement is largely happening in relative silence. Many people are advocates, but many people are quiet about this. So we have 6 of visions after that, 7 of visions, and there's that 2 of spells coming out again. So I could show you reading those sticks. That's also to me runes, or even the I Ching in general. 6 of visions, let's show you that one. There's something about our history, and especially young girls, and how we need to recognize feminines of all sort, even the masculines that are hyper masculine, but also very connected with their inner divine femininity. And that's the true divine masculine indeed, is to be highly connected with their own personal capacity for intuitive, instinctual, and emotionally sensitive momentum and energy. So we're already at the end of the vision of the reading. With this vision, I just wanted to follow up and complete the thought. Is like the young girl or person, the young person, this child of spells, has grown up believing in the certain ideals and the rhetoric. They've done their thinking, their internal space, and it's like, people are showing up in droves to make sure that this is actually a very sacred and magical place where dreams can indeed come true, instead of the disenfranchisement, which seems to be the misuse of the magical sorcery that is trying to usurp our free will and our magical capacity. And we can look at this across all types of oppression. And generally it does happen from the rich and the enfranchised coming down and trying to create